Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. Here we take a colossal stack of sources, articles, research, our own notes, and sift through the noise to extract those vital nuggets of knowledge and surprising insights you need to truly understand the world around you. Today, we're embarking on a fascinating deep dive into a sprawling landscape of global events from July 2025. Covering everything from the intricate geopolitical chessboard and the cutting edge of artificial intelligence to surprising shifts in global finance and even some intriguing developments in the world of sports.
It's an incredibly diverse mix, isn't it? Our mission is to guide you through this complex tapestry of information, helping you understand what's truly important in these sources, connecting dots you might not see at first glance, and delivering those aha moments that bring clarity without the overwhelming information overload.
Absolutely. And that's crucial because in today's fragmented news cycle, it's easy to miss those key connections. For this deep dive, we've pulled from a wide spectrum of sources, major news outlets like the BBC, DW, Al Jazeera, and NBC News.
Right.
Essential financial publications, such as Yahoo Finance and Investors Business Daily, and tech-focused sites like TechCrunch and WebMD. We'll be distilling the core takeaways from each, exploring different perspectives where they exist,
Which is key.
and making sure we highlight the big trends across science, space, technology, geopolitics, business, finance, and market trends, while not forgetting the other intriguing stories that popped up along the way.
Our role today is that of impartial guides. We'll be presenting the facts as they are reported by these diverse sources, even when they come from different, sometimes conflicting sides of a contentious issue.
Exactly.
Our paramount goal is clarity and comprehensive understanding for you, our listener, not commentary or endorsement of any particular viewpoint.
All right, consider the diving bell sealed. Let's unpack this mountain of information and get started. Global geopolitical shifts and conflicts. A world in flux. We're kicking off our deep dive with global geopolitical shifts and conflicts because, frankly, the world map seems to be redrawing itself in real time.
It certainly feels that way sometimes.
This past month has brought significant developments concerning the ongoing conflict in Eastern Europe, especially regarding Ukraine's stance on international treaties and a major regional shift.
Indeed. One of the most talked about decisions, reported by Al Jazeera, is Ukraine's formal move to withdraw from the Ottawa Treaty, which explicitly bans landmines.
The landmine ban.
Yeah.
This treaty, known formally as the Convention on the Prohibition of the Use, Stockpiling, Production, and Transfer of Anti-Personnel Mines and on their destruction, was ratified by Ukraine back in 2005.
Right.
Its primary goal is to eliminate the production, use, and stockpiling of landmines globally due to their indiscriminate and lasting harm to civilian populations.
And their withdrawal, as Al Jazeera highlights, comes right in the middle of ongoing conflict in the eastern Donbass area. This decision has, predictably, sparked considerable controversy and humanitarian concern.
Understandably so.
The very essence of the treaty is to get rid of these terrible weapons that continue to maim and kill civilians long after conflicts have ended.
Yeah, the long-term impact is devastating.
Critics argue this move could seriously hinder international efforts to address the legacy of landmines in current and future conflict zones, exacerbating civilian casualties. It truly underscores the incredibly complex and often tragic balance governments face between perceived immediate security interests and long-term humanitarian concerns, especially during wartime.
It's a stark reminder, isn't it? Difficult and often unpopular choices nations feel compelled to make under immense pressure.
Exactly.
Shifting our focus to another significant development in that same region, sources like RT report that Russian forces have gained what they describe as full control over the Lugansk People's Republic, or LPR.
The LPR.
This marks what RT characterizes as the complete end of Ukraine's presence in the region after more than a decade of conflict.
More than a decade, wow.
What's particularly fascinating here is how the narrative is framed by different sources, offering distinct perspectives on the same event.
Right, the framing is key.
This account from RT emphasizes the liberation of the territory and highlights historical grievances.
Yes. RT specifically recounts that the LPR emerged back in 2014 amid the broader political turmoil in Kyiv, with a significant portion of its Russian-speaking residents protesting the ousting of then-President Viktor Yanukovych, which subsequently led to a controversial referendum supporting separation from Ukraine.
That historical context is crucial to understanding the narrative presented by RT.
Absolutely.
That's right. Hostilities in the region then intensified dramatically with Russia's special military operation in February 2022, leading to the gradual occupation of key cities like Severodonetsk and Lysychansk. RT also notes that a September 2022 referendum allegedly showed overwhelming support for the region joining Russia.
Allegedly, yeah.
Their reporting claims that Ukrainian counteroffensives subsequently failed to reclaim significant territory, with 99% of the region announced liberated by March 2025, and full control reportedly achieved by June 30, 2025.
So a very specific timeline from their perspective.
Exactly. This narrative clearly underscores the historical context and alleged local support, which are central to the Russian perspective on the conflict's legitimacy and outcomes in the region.
Beyond territorial control, we've also seen a dangerous escalation in the methods of conflict, specifically through drone attacks and serious chemical weapon allegations.
Sorry.
Al Jazeera reported a Ukrainian drone attack that targeted a factory deep inside central Russia, resulting in 3 fatalities and 35 injuries.
Deep inside Russia, that's significant.
This incident, occurring so far into Russian territory, signifies a pretty significant escalation of the conflict geographically, and certainly raises concerns about further intensification and wider international repercussions.
Definitely raises the stakes. And then, in a counter-allegation, RT reported that Russian authorities, specifically the Federal Security Service, FSB, have accused Ukraine of systematically violating the Chemical Weapons Convention.
The CWC, right? What are they claiming?
They claim the discovery of a clandestine chemical lab and banned toxic substances, specifically chloropacrin, rigged with explosives for drones, at a former Ukrainian military hideout in Donetsk.
Chloropacrin. That's nasty stuff.
It is. For context, chloropacrin is a chemical compound historically used as a chemical weapon during World War I and later as a pesticide, known for its choking properties. If these claims are substantiated, it introduces a severe and internationally prohibited element into the conflict.
Wow. So on one hand, we have drone strikes hitting deep into Russian territory, and on the other, these grave accusations of the use of chemical weapons, including the discovery of such materials. It really paints a picture of heightened tensions and a potential shift in the nature of engagement.
Absolutely. RT notes this marks the second such discovery in 2024, with a previous alleged hydrogen cyanide lab found back in May. It's certainly a deeply concerning development that, if proven, would significantly escalate the international response to the conflict.
That truly underscores the immense human cost and complex layers of international involvement. Shifting gears slightly, but still very much in the realm of international relations and conflict, the Middle East.
Yeah, a highly volatile situation there.
Our sources describe significant exchanges and diplomatic fallout. Tensions escalated following Israeli airstrikes on Iranian nuclear and military sites, which reportedly resulted in hundreds of casualties, including senior officials.
As RT reported, Iran retaliated with drone and missile attacks not only on Israeli territory, but also on the U.S. Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar.
Right, drawing the U.S. in more directly.
Highlighting the broader regional involvement. This intense 12-day conflict eventually concluded with a U.S.-brokered ceasefire.
A ceasefire, but the tension remains, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. An anonymous source from Tehran, speaking exclusively to RT, stated that Iran still possesses vast quantities of advanced missiles and ominously claimed that any future war with Israel would be its last.
Its last. That's chilling.
Very chilling. This source also asserted that Iran has identified vulnerabilities in Israel's defenses and enjoys widespread domestic and diaspora support for its hardline military stance.
And as if the direct conflict wasn't enough, we saw a controversial comparison from former President Trump.
Yes, the Trends Journal noted that he reportedly likened the bombing of Iranian nuclear sites to the historic and devastating decision to drop atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
That comparison.
Wow. This immediately makes you wonder, what's the intended message of such a comparison? While it certainly highlights the perceived gravity of the military decisions being made, it also invokes the immensely controversial and tragic history of nuclear warfare, especially given the ongoing tensions in the region. It's a statement that carries significant historical weight and can be interpreted in various ways, from a warning to a justification.
Definitely loaded language. There's also been diplomatic fallout beyond the direct parties involved.
That's right. RT reported that Iran officially summoned Ukraine's chargé d'affaires to protest statements made by Ukrainian officials supporting U.S. and Israeli military strikes against Iran.
So Ukraine weighed in.
They did. Iran accused Ukraine of supporting unjustified aggression and violating international law. This diplomatic rebuke came after Ukrainian President Zelensky had publicly supported the campaign.
Interesting. Shows how these conflicts ripple outwards.
It demonstrates how quickly regional conflicts can draw in other nations and impact broader diplomatic relations. The ripple effect of such statements and actions is significant, potentially impacting alliances and international diplomatic standings in unexpected ways.
Amidst all this, we've also seen truly heartbreaking news regarding aid distribution in Gaza.
Just tragic stories coming out of there.
Both the BBC and Al Jazeera reported that hundreds were killed near Gaza aid sites, with the Israeli military investigating reports of harm to civilians approaching 8 distribution centers operated by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation.
Which is notably supported by both the U.S. and Israel.
Right.
These incidents sparked widespread outrage and significant international concern, highlighting the immense challenges faced by aid organizations operating in active conflict zones.
Absolutely.
They raise critical questions about civilian safety, even during humanitarian operations, and the responsibilities of all parties to ensure the safe passage and distribution of vital aid. The sheer scale of civilian casualties near these aid sites is a profound humanitarian crisis.
And to add another layer of complexity and international scrutiny, Al Jazeera noted that the UN released a report.
Yes, the UN report.
Identifying companies allegedly complicit in Israel's actions, including what the report describes as genocide. This, of course, has sparked considerable debate and calls for accountability on a global scale.
This UN report, by explicitly naming private entities and connecting them to allegations of genocide, represents a significant escalation in the discourse around corporate accountability in conflict zones.
Definitely puts companies on notice.
It could set a powerful precedent for legal challenges and consumer boycotts, potentially reshaping how multinational corporations assess risk and ethical operations in contentious regions. It's a tool designed to bring direct economic and reputational pressure.
Beyond the immediate conflict zones, diplomatic maneuvers and migration challenges are reshaping borders and alliances across Europe and beyond, starting with Russia and Azerbaijan.
Right. Tensions flared up there.
Escalated after 3 Russian journalists, 2 Sputnik editors, and 1 Rupli journalist were detained in Baku.
RT reported that Azerbaijani police accused them of being Russian FSB agents, claims that Russia swiftly dismissed as baseless and a clear provocation.
FSB agents, wow.
Russia's foreign ministry responded sharply by summoning the Azerbaijani ambassador. This diplomatic incident follows earlier restrictions on Sputnik operations in Baku and a police raid in Russia targeting Azerbaijani-linked organized crime.
So a bit of back and forth already.
It truly shows how easily diplomatic incidents, even those involving journalists, can snowball into broader international disputes, particularly when underlying geopolitical tensions already exist.
Shifting to the complex issue of migration within Europe, DW reported that Poland temporarily reinstated border controls with Germany and Lithuania to curb illegal migration.
Poland tightening its borders.
This move, while permitted under Schengen rules during emergencies, reflects broader EU-wide concerns over migration flows, especially those exacerbated by ongoing global conflicts and instability.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, these actions by Poland reflect growing internal EU tensions over migration policy, where different member states are struggling with the influx and the shared responsibility.
Yeah, that's been a huge issue for the EU.
RT notes that Poland has been vocal in criticizing Germany for allegedly returning migrants without proper coordination, and has also accused Lithuania and Latvia of inadequate border management.
Pointing fingers.
Furthermore, Poland has squarely blamed Belarus and Russia for orchestrating these influxes, using migrants as a tool of hybrid warfare, claims which both Belarus and Russia deny.
The hybrid warfare angle again.
These unilateral border actions bring to mind warnings from figures like former German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who cautioned that such measures could severely undermine European unity and the principles of the Schengen area. It's a fundamental challenge to the EU's open borders policy.
Absolutely. Finally, in this section, we're looking at domestic politics that often have significant international echoes. For instance, Al Jazeera reported that both former President Barack Obama and former President George W. Bush issued strong criticisms
Against Trump, right?
against former President Trump's actions in gutting U.S. aid on its last day, calling it a travesty and tragedy. They both emphasized USI's critical and long-standing role in global humanitarian work and development assistance.
That's quite the bipartisan criticism.
It really is.
This highlights surprising bipartisan support for USAID's effectiveness and its extensive global reach. It sparked broader debates about the strategic importance and prioritization of foreign aid in an increasingly complex and interconnected world.
Yeah.
It's rare to see such a unified front from political figures who are otherwise historical adversaries, underscoring the perceived value and impact of USAID's work.
We also saw a few other noteworthy domestic political developments with international relevance. In Georgia, Al Jazeera reported that opposition leader Nika Javaramia was jailed amid a deepening crackdown on critics,
Raising concerns about democracy there.
a move that drew international condemnation from human rights organizations.
Yeah.
In Thailand, the BBC reported that Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra was suspended as a constitutional court considers her removal, plunging the country into a period of political uncertainty.
Al Jazeera also covered a recent deal between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda,
The DRC-Rwanda deal, yes.
which, despite initial optimism, raises serious questions about its potential for lasting peace. Key concerns revolve around ensuring equitable access to critical minerals, addressing the activities of armed groups like M23, and guaranteeing grassroots inclusivity in any peace process.
So cautious optimism at best.
Exactly. It's a complex situation with many historical layers and a lot of moving parts that impact regional stability.
And over in Moldova, RT reported that Russia's former deputy defense minister was sentenced in a $50 million corruption case. This case, though ostensibly about corruption, underscores the deepening domestic and geopolitical tensions between Moldova's current pro-European government and its pro-Russian factions, who maintain significant influence.
Right, showing how internal politics links to the bigger picture.
It just goes to show how internal affairs can so often be inextricably tied to broader international dynamics and power struggles.
True.
Frontiers of innovation. Space, AI, and science. All right, if you thought geopolitics was complex, prepare yourselves, because here's where it gets really fascinating and perhaps a little bit unsettling. Artificial intelligence.
AI. It's everywhere now.
It's not just a buzzword anymore. It's actively reshaping our world, from healthcare diagnostics to our very concept of human creativity. And the implications are truly profound.
Definitely profound.
WebMD, via Yahoo Finance, reported that Microsoft is making some astonishing claims. Their AI technology can now diagnose patients more accurately than human doctors.
Wow, more accurately.
Indicating a potential paradigm shift towards AI-driven diagnostics in healthcare. Imagine an AI being your first line of defense for a medical diagnosis.
This immediately raises an important question, though. While the diagnostic accuracy is undoubtedly impressive and holds immense potential for improving healthcare access and efficiency, what are the profound ethical considerations and significant practical challenges in integrating AI into such critical human-centric fields?
That's the big question.
The legal implications around liability for misdiagnosis, the potential for algorithmic bias in healthcare outcomes, and the psychological impact on patient trust are vast and largely uncharted territory. We're talking about a transformation that goes beyond mere technological capability into fundamental societal shifts.
And it's not just about diagnostics or efficiency. Al Jazeera reported on a compelling Harvard study
Yes, the motivation study.
that found while generative AI can significantly enhance productivity in creative tasks, it may also negatively impact human motivation levels.
Right.
The study suggests that intrinsic motivation for creative activities could decrease as our reliance on AI for ideation and execution grows. That's a bit unsettling, isn't it?
It really is.
It means we might be boosting output at the cost of our own creative spark.
It absolutely does. This research truly sheds light on the complex interplay between advanced technology and the human mindset, highlighting both the undeniable benefits and the potential, less obvious drawbacks of increasingly offloading creative tasks to machines.
Yeah.
There's a delicate balance we need to strike to harness AI's power without inadvertently dulling our own innate human drive for creation and problem solving.
And speaking of generative AI, TechCrunch also gave us the lowdown on ChatGPT.
Can't avoid ChatGPT.
An AI-powered chatbot that has truly exploded into public consciousness. It's renowned for its impressive capabilities, leveraging advanced AI models to enhance chatbot interactions, making them remarkably fluid and intelligent.
Its potential applications span various domains, from customer service and content generation to education and software development.
So it seems AI is a powerful double-edged sword, boosting efficiency across industries, but potentially dulling our own creative spark.
That sums it up well.
It's certainly something profound to ponder as we delegate more and more tasks and cognitive functions to machines. From the microscopic world of AI impacting our minds to the cosmic expanse our gaze now turns to the stars, where NASA is making headlines on multiple fronts,
Always exciting news from NASA.
demonstrating a remarkable commitment to public engagement and international collaboration. First up, a major new way to connect with space. NASA announced a landmark partnership with Netflix
NASA on Netflix. Cool.
to stream live NASA Plus programming starting summer 2025.
This is a monumental step for public access to space exploration, given Netflix's immense reach with over 700 million global users.
Huge audience.
As NASA officially reported, audiences worldwide will soon be able to view rocket launches in real time, astronaut spacewalks, in-depth mission coverage, and even live breathtaking views of Earth from the International Space Station directly through Netflix's platform.
That's amazing.
This initiative aligns perfectly with NASA's long-standing mission to make scientific and exploratory efforts as accessible and inspiring as possible, leveraging such a massive platform to ignite curiosity and inspire new generations globally.
And crucially,
NASA Plus will also remain free and ad-free on its existing platforms, ensuring widespread accessibility.
good. And speaking of the International Space Station, NASA also reported a crucial logistical update. The Roscosmos Progress 92 cargo spacecraft is set to launch on July 3.
The resupply mission. Essential.
This mission is vital for resupplying the ISS, carrying nearly 3 tons of essential food, fuel, and supplies for the Expedition 73 crew, with docking expected on July 5.
Keeps the lights on, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. The previous Progress 90 cargo craft will undock just prior to this, making way. Progress 92 will then remain attached to the station for approximately 6 months, serving as an orbital storage unit and waste disposal vessel before its controlled deorbit and re-entry into Earth's atmosphere.
It's a sophisticated and continuously updated logistical dance that keeps the station running and its crew safe. What's particularly noteworthy here is the continued robust international collaboration on the ISS, especially with Roscosmos.
Despite everything else going on.
Despite the broader global geopolitical tensions we discussed earlier, it's a powerful testament to the shared pursuit of scientific advancement that these international partnerships on the ISS continue to thrive.
It really is.
NASA further highlighted their strengthening collaboration with the Indian Space Research Organization, or ISRO,
NASA and ISRO.
through joint missions and scientific research initiatives. A significant goal of this partnership is to place the first ISRO astronaut aboard the ISS.
Wow, that's big.
A bilateral commitment strongly emphasized by both President Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This cooperation also encompasses 5 joint science investigations and 2 STEM-related in-orbit demonstrations, showcasing a profound commitment to shared scientific progress.
And one of the most exciting future missions resulting from this collaboration involves NASA astronaut Anil Menon.
Yes, Anil Menon.
NASA recently announced that he's assigned to his inaugural ISS mission as part of Expedition 75, scheduled for June 2026, traveling aboard the Roscosmos Soyuz MS-29 alongside Russian cosmonauts.
Menon, who was selected as an astronaut in 2021, brings an incredibly diverse and impressive background to the table. He holds advanced degrees in neurobiology, mechanical engineering, and medicine.
Quite the resume.
Beyond his academic achievements, he's also a colonel in the U.S. Space Force and an experienced emergency physician, even serving as SpaceX's first flight surgeon.
SpaceX's first flight surgeon. Interesting.
It really showcases the extraordinary breadth of expertise and multidisciplinary skills needed for modern space exploration, pulling from fields that once seemed entirely unrelated.
Beyond the rockets and AI, pure scientific inquiry continues to yield some truly incredible insights into our universe and how we can make our planet healthier.
Absolutely. Fundamental science.
Rude Baguette reported a groundbreaking discovery from the James Webb Telescope.
The JWST keeps delivering.
It has uncovered profound new insights into the deep structural secrets of disk galaxies, revealing astonishing details about how the universe built its most significant shapes. This isn't just pretty pictures. It's fundamental cosmology.
This breakthrough highlights the James Webb Telescope's pivotal and unparalleled role in unraveling cosmic mysteries and understanding the intricate mechanisms of galaxy formation and evolution. Every new image and data point it collects expands our understanding of the universe on a foundational level, pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible to observe.
And bringing it back down to Earth, or rather to water. The Trends Journal noted a significant innovation from researchers at The Ohio State University.
Water purification.
They've developed a new method to treat contaminated water using what they call nanofibrous blankets that can purify water by simply harnessing sunlight.
Using sunlight.
Yeah.
That sounds incredibly useful. This is a truly remarkable and practical application of scientific discovery. It offers a potentially far more efficient, sustainable, and low-cost approach to removing impurities from water,
Especially in remote areas.
which could be especially impactful in remote areas or developing regions where conventional water treatment facilities are unavailable or impractical. It's a significant step towards addressing global clean water challenges.
And in another unexpected scientific revelation, the Trends Journal also mentioned that Cambridge University scientists are investigating an innovative way to enhance common shellfish, like clams, mussels, and oysters.
Enhancing shellfish. How?
Their research aims to genetically and nutritionally optimize these bivalves to meet complete daily human nutritional requirements, potentially becoming a comprehensive one-a-day vitamin solution.
Get out. A one-a-day oyster.
Apparently.
This immediately makes you wonder, could our next multivitamin come straight from the sea, grown in an aquaculture farm? It's a fascinating concept that marries natural food sources with advanced nutritional science.
It really is.
This represents a natural, potentially highly sustainable, and incredibly efficient approach to nutrition that could have significant implications for global health and food security, offering a biologically complete and easily scalable food source. It's certainly a surprising, yet exciting, direction for nutritional science.
The tech world isn't just about massive innovations and scientific breakthroughs. It's also about big money, novel business models, and new ways for us to connect digitally.
The business side of tech, yeah.
TechCrunch reported that Taylor, a headless ERP startup, successfully raised $22 million in Series A funding.
Headless ERP, explain that a bit.
Right. For those less familiar, a headless ERP essentially separates the back-end business logic like inventory management or order processing from the user-facing interface, or head.
Okay, so more flexibility.
Exactly. This offers businesses far more flexibility and customization in how they manage their operations and integrate with other systems, allowing them to rapidly adapt to new digital channels without rehauling their core systems.
Got it. Makes sense.
These are the kinds of quiet innovations that underpin a lot of modern agile businesses.
TechCrunch also covered another interesting and perhaps unexpected funding round. Apps for Bharat, the Indian startup behind the increasingly popular Hindu devotional app Sri Mandir,
Yeah.
raised $20 million in a new funding round. This significant investment reflects a growing trend of digital devotion, showcasing how technology is increasingly impacting and transforming even traditional spiritual practices, creating new communities and engagement models for religious observance.
Fascinating intersection. And for all you social media users out there, particularly on Instagram, TechCrunch reported an exciting new integration.
What's new on Insta?
Instagram now allows users to share Spotify songs with sound directly to their stories.
Oh, finally, with Sam.
With sound. This means your followers can listen to song previews directly on the platform, creating a much more engaging audiovisual experience compared to just a static image.
That's a good update. Makes sense.
It's all about making those digital connections and content sharing more dynamic and immersive. And speaking of tech, one name seems to consistently bridge the gap between groundbreaking innovation and high-stakes political drama: Elon Musk.
Ah, Musk. Never far from the headlines.
Sources like RT, Al Jazeera, and CNN all extensively covered former President Trump's very public call for an investigation into Elon Musk by what he's termed the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE.
DOGE? Seriously?
A new agency Trump himself proposed during his presidential campaign. Trump specifically accused Musk of receiving more government subsidies than any other individual, and he threatened to review and potentially revoke subsidies on Musk-owned companies like Tesla and SpaceX.
Wow. Trump versus Musk, that's quite a feud.
Isn't it?
This public feud is truly fascinating, especially considering its timing. RT reports that Musk had actually resigned as head of DOGE just last month.
He was head of DOGE.
Apparently, yes. He resigned amid significant opposition to Trump's proposed Big Beautiful budget bill, which crucially included a substantial $5 trillion increase in the national debt ceiling.
Oh, okay. The budget bill fight.
Musk had openly criticized lawmakers who supported increased spending, explicitly warning of political consequences for them in upcoming primaries, highlighting his frustration with what he sees as unchecked government expenditure.
And Musk's response has been equally fiery and public.
Predictably.
RT stated that he significantly ramped up his criticism of Trump's budget policies and Congress as a whole, accusing lawmakers of hypocrisy for supporting increased spending while claiming fiscal conservatism. He's also renewed his highly publicized call for a new America Party, a third political force designed to challenge and disrupt the traditional Democrat-Republican establishment that he believes is failing the American public.
The America Party push again. What's particularly insightful here is the public feud between two immensely influential figures, each with a massive platform and dedicated following.
Absolutely. Titans clashing.
It highlights the growing and often volatile intersection of corporate power, technological innovation, and deeply entrenched political discourse in the United States. This public sparring suggests potential significant shifts in political alignment and the future of industrial policy, especially concerning government support for advanced industries.
Yeah.
It's a high-stakes chess match played out not just in Washington, but also on social media, with profound implications for both business and politics. 3. Economic currents and market dynamics. Navigating financial tides.
Now let's pivot and dive into the economic currents and market dynamics as we navigate these often unpredictable financial tides.
Right, onto the economy.
A central piece of the economic puzzle revolves around a major legislative push in the U.S. this past month. What former President Trump famously termed his Big Beautiful Bill.
Ah, yes, the Big Beautiful Bill.
Both Yahoo News and the BBC reported that U.S. Senate Republicans narrowly succeeded in passing Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act. This comprehensive legislation includes a whopping $150 billion in funding specifically allocated for the Department of Defense.
$150 billion for the DoD.
Slated to be used for shipbuilding, among other critical defense purposes.
This bill's approval, despite its narrow passage, is widely seen as a significant political victory for Trump, as Yahoo News highlighted.
Shows his continued influence.
It emphasizes his continued formidable influence within the Republican Party and his remarkable ability to successfully advance key legislative agendas, even from outside the White House. It demonstrates a continued allegiance among a segment of the party to his policy priorities.
But the path to passage was anything but smooth.
No, it sounds like it was tough going.
Reuters, via Yahoo Finance, reported that a core component of the bill aimed at implementing significant tax cuts, with Republicans prioritizing its advancement despite widespread concerns about its potential to substantially increase the national debt.
Tax cuts versus debt, the classic debate.
And the BBC noted that Senate Republicans face considerable challenges in pushing the broader $3.3 trillion tax cut legislation over the finish line. This reflected persistent discord within the party itself and led to marathon debates.
Marathon debates. Sounds tiring.
Indicating the deep divisions even within the Republican caucus on fiscal policy.
This immediately raises a critical and perennial economic question. What is the long-term trade-off between immediate, broad-based tax cuts, which are often aimed at stimulating economic growth, and the potential impact of significantly increasing the national debt? Different political perspectives certainly view this balance very differently.
Naturally.
With some prioritizing short-term economic stimulus and others emphasizing long-term fiscal solvency and generational burden. It's a fundamental economic debate with profound implications for future economic stability and growth.
Beyond specific legislation, the broader global economic landscape is sending some interesting and, for some, concerning signals.
Like the U.S. dollar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Al Jazeera reported that the U.S. dollar experienced a significant decline in 2025, falling by record levels. This downturn is attributed to a complex confluence of economic challenges, heightened market volatility, and a range of ongoing geopolitical uncertainties.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, Al Jazeera and the Trends Journal both indicate that this poor performance of the dollar reflects underlying structural issues within the U.S. economy.
Such as
persistent trade imbalances, rising inflation concerns, and fluctuating market conditions driven by investor sentiment. A weakening dollar can have a cascading impact on everything, from the cost of imports for American consumers,
right, hitting wallets,
to the competitiveness of U.S. exports on the global stage and the overall flow of international investments into the country. It signals potential profound shifts in the global economic landscape and the dollar's role as the world's primary reserve currency.
That's a big deal. And as for overall market performance,
mixed signals there, too.
CNBC reported a mixed bag to kick off the second half of 2025. The S&P 500 notably slipped, with Tesla shares specifically dropping.
That's what
However, the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained, showing that not all sectors and market indices are moving in lockstep, reflecting a nuanced economic picture. Meanwhile, RT reported that Russian financial institutions continue to face significant difficulties navigating a complex landscape shaped by external sanctions, high inflation, and fluctuating central bank policies.
Still feeling the sanctions.
Despite these challenges, Sberbank, one of Russia's largest banks, forecasts a return to pre-sanction economic levels by 2026.
Really? By 2026?
Indicating a degree of resilience or optimism within their financial sector.
Interesting forecast. We'll see.
Let's zoom in on some specific company news and bold investment plays that have made headlines. Yahoo Finance reported some good news for two major industrial players. Boeing and GE shares both climbed significantly this past month.
Boeing and GE up? Why?
This rise was attributed to valuable clues emerging from Boeing 787 black box data, which is providing critical insights regarding recent incidents.
Ah, the 787 incident.
Helping to restore confidence in the aviation sector and these key manufacturers.
And here's a classic example of how market reactions can defy initial expectations. Barron's reported that Trump's mega bill, with its various policy implications, was widely expected to negatively impact the solar industry.
Right, shifts in energy policy.
Particularly with its shifts in energy policy. Yet, surprisingly, two major solar players, Sunrun and First Solar, saw their stocks rise.
Sunrun and First Solar up.
While others like Enphase Energy and NextEra Energy saw their stocks fall after the latest Senate bill. This demonstrates that the specific details and nuances of complex legislation can have counterintuitive effects on particular sectors,
Creating winners and losers.
often creating winners and losers in ways not immediately apparent to general market observers. It underscores the importance of digging into the specifics.
Absolutely. And for those keeping a very close eye on the volatile world of cryptocurrency.
Bitcoin always makes news.
Yahoo Finance reported on a potentially massive Bitcoin investment windfall. MicroStrategy founder Michael Saylor, known for his aggressive corporate strategy of accumulating Bitcoin,
Saylor's big Bitcoin bet, yeah.
could see his investment strategy lead to an astonishing $14 billion gain.
14 billion, wow.
This potential windfall could significantly surpass even optimistic Wall Street expectations, further highlighting cryptocurrency's increasing influence and perceived legitimacy in traditional finance circles.
It really signals a shift, doesn't it?
It signals a notable shift in what is considered a safe or lucrative investment by institutional players and how digital assets are integrating into mainstream portfolios.
Even everyday services and ancient institutions are adapting to changing economic realities and modern pressures. The BBC reported that food delivery apps are implementing significantly stricter checks to prevent the employment of illegal workers.
The delivery apps tightening up.
This move comes in response to growing concerns over labor exploitation within the gig economy and aims to enhance compliance with employment laws, reflecting a broader push for more responsible business practices in the rapidly expanding delivery sector.
And in a notable nod to economizing at the very highest level.
Who's cutting back now?
Yahoo News reported that King Charles III made the decision to decommission the royal train.
The royal train. No more.
This iconic train has been in service for a remarkable 156 years, ever since the era of Queen Victoria. This move is part of broader efforts by the monarch to economize and streamline royal travel arrangements.
Wow. End of an era.
Demonstrating a commitment to fiscal prudence within the monarchy itself, and perhaps setting an example.
Well, if even the king is cutting costs and modernizing his transport options, maybe we should all reevaluate our own lavish expenditures.
Though, let's be honest, most of us aren't exactly commissioning a royal train for a daily commute.
True enough. 4. Societal well-being, health, justice, and community.
Now let's shift our focus to societal well-being, exploring stories that touch on public health, justice, and community resilience.
Right, moving beyond the markets and politics.
From global warming to subtle changes in family structures, our health and environment are consistently making headlines. DW reported this month that Europe's unprecedented heat wave continues.
The heat waves seem relentless.
Leading UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to label it the new normal. This stark declaration emphasizes the increasing prevalence and intensity of extreme heat events globally and underscores his urgent calls for immediate and decisive climate action.
The new normal. That's a grim assessment. The BBC added to this picture, reporting that the UK experienced its hottest day of 2025 as the heat wave peaked across Europe.
Hottest day of the year already.
These soaring temperatures have led to devastating wildfires across the continent and renewed urgent calls to mitigate the effects of climate change. We even saw reports of some farmers working through the night to avoid harvesting their crops during the dangerously high peak afternoon temperatures.
Working through the night. Wow.
A vivid illustration of how industries are adapting to changing environmental realities on the ground. This isn't just about record temperatures, it's about the pervasive impact on daily life and economic activity.
On the critical public health front, the ongoing COVID inquiry heard some truly harrowing assertions, as reported by the BBC.
The COVID inquiry, yes. What came out?
Witnesses spoke of a generational slaughter within care homes during the early stages of the pandemic.
Oh, just awful language.
A phrase that, tragically, chimes with the experience of thousands of our families. This powerful testimony highlights the devastating and disproportionate impact of the pandemic on vulnerable populations in long-term care facilities and raises profound questions about public health policy and preparedness.
Really brings home the cost in care homes. And in a demographic shift reported by the BBC, there's been a notable rise in fathers over 60 in England and Wales.
Dads over 60. Interesting.
This marks an interesting trend in parental demographics, indicating that older individuals are increasingly choosing parenthood later in life. This trend has wider implications for family dynamics, childcare needs, and even intergenerational support structures in society. It reflects changing societal norms and longer life expectancies.
The legal system, as always, is incredibly busy, with high-profile cases and significant investigations making progress. AP News reported a massive federal crackdown this past month.
A crackdown on what?
Over 300 individuals have been charged in healthcare fraud schemes, amounting to a staggering $14.6 billion.
$14.6 billion in healthcare fraud.
This marks a significant effort by the Justice Department to combat pervasive fraudulent activities within the healthcare sector, which not only cost taxpayers billions, but also undermine the integrity of medical services.
We've also been closely following the high-profile Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial. Both the BBC and Yahoo reported that the jury is currently in deliberation.
Jury's out in the Diddy trial.
Considering the evidence in a case that has captured significant public attention due to the celebrity involved and the serious nature of the allegations, the verdict, once it comes, will undoubtedly have a major impact.
In a deeply concerning report from the BBC, victims and campaigners have come forward, reporting that police forces are failing to properly investigate coercive control cases.
Coercive control, that's hard to prosecute.
One victim even recounted the shocking experience of having to investigate her own abuse case due to what she described as persistent police failure.
Had to investigate herself. That's appalling.
That's an alarming breakdown of trust and protection for those who desperately need it, highlighting a critical gap in the justice system's response to these complex forms of domestic abuse.
Unfortunately, there are also a number of violent crime incidents to note from across the country. NBC News via Yahoo reported a tragic ambush in Idaho where 2 firefighters were killed by a suspected gunman whose body was later found by a SWAT team.
Just terrible news from Idaho.
AP News and KUSA.com reported that an 82-year-old woman injured in a firebomb attack in Boulder, Colorado, tragically died.
Oh, no.
Following closely after another Pearl Street Mall attack where a woman suffered severe injuries and also passed away. These incidents highlight persistent concerns about public safety and violent crime.
Oh, worrying.
The BBC also reported that a second arrest has been made in a pregnant mother murder investigation, indicating progress in that deeply distressing case.
And in another significant legal development that has gripped national attention, BBC reports indicate that Brian Kohberger, the suspect in the 2022 murders of the Idaho students,
Kohberger, yes,
is set to plead guilty. If confirmed, this would bring a potential, albeit heartbreaking, resolution to a case that has haunted a community and captivated the nation with its brutal details.
Moving to transnational crime and cybersecurity, RT reported a fascinating but alarming incident. A Mexican drug cartel successfully hacked an FBI phone, revealing encrypted communications.
A cartel hacked the FBI. How?
The report didn't detail how, but it highlights growing concerns about sophisticated surveillance technologies falling into criminal hands and the challenges law enforcement faces in the digital age.
Definitely.
Separately, President Trump has continued to be vocal on this front, labeling several Mexican cartels as foreign terrorist organizations and even suggesting controversial missile strikes on drug labs in Mexico.
Missile strikes. That's extreme.
This stance, particularly the suggestion of military action, has significantly escalated tensions between the U.S. and Mexico, with Mexico Mexico fiercely criticizing U.S. actions as an undermining of its national sovereignty.
Understandably.
It's a thorny issue with no easy answers, balancing national security concerns with diplomatic relations and international law. The ability of cartels to hack encrypted phones adds a new, dangerous dimension to this long-standing battle.
Absolutely. Finally, in a significant civil rights and education update, the BBC and NPR reported that the White House and the Department of Health and Human Services Civil Rights Office supported a complaint against Harvard University.
Harvard in the spotlight again.
The complaint alleged discrimination and a hostile environment for Jewish students, and the subsequent federal investigation found that the university indeed violated federal civil rights law.
Found they violated the law.
Okay, this raises an important question about balancing freedom of expression and open intellectual debate with ensuring a safe, inclusive, and non-discriminatory environment for all students on university campuses.
It's a critical balance.
It's a delicate and crucial line that institutions of higher learning must walk, and this ruling sends a clear message about accountability.
Unfortunately, our sources also bring us news of tragic accidents and the increasing, often devastating impact of natural disasters around the globe. Al Jazeera reported that nearly a week of relentless heavy monsoon rains and flash floods in Pakistan killed 46 individuals.
46 people in Pakistan floods. Awful.
Including a heartbreaking loss of 13 members from one single family. Forecasters warn that similar extreme weather events could recur with increasing frequency and intensity, highlighting the vulnerability of populations to climate-related disasters.
In a truly harrowing but ultimately heroic story of quick thinking and parental love.
What happened?
The BBC and the Washington Post both reported that a father and daughter were rescued minutes after the daughter fell from a Disney cruise ship.
Fell off a cruise ship?
And the father, without hesitation, jumped into the treacherous sea to save her.
He jumped in after her. Incredible.
Talk about quick thinking under immense pressure and incredible bravery. A truly heroic act by that father, and a testament to the powerful instinct to protect one's family.
Absolutely heroic. On the industrial front, Al Jazeera reported a tragic explosion at a pharmaceutical factory in India's Telangana state, which tragically claimed the lives of at least 36 people.
Factory explosion in India.
Yeah.
So many deaths.
The blast was so powerful it was heard kilometers away, underscoring the dangers inherent in certain industrial operations. And RT noted that a Russian Su-34 fighter bomber crashed during a training flight due to a landing gear malfunction.
Russian jet crash.
Fortunately, both the pilot and navigator were able to eject safely, averting a greater tragedy.
That's good news, at least. And closer to home, the BBC reported the heartbreaking news that a family paid a moving tribute to their 7-year-old girl, Leona Ruka, who tragically died when a tree collapsed on her in a park.
Oh, that's just heartbreaking. A falling tree.
Our deepest thoughts go out to her family and loved ones during this unimaginable time. The lighter side. Culture, sports, and oddities.
Okay, let's try and shift gears a bit.
Yes, shifting gears now to the lighter, or at least the distinctly different side of the news, we have some intriguing cultural updates that caught our eye.
Culture and sports, yeah.
The BBC reported that police launched a criminal investigation into Bob Dylan and kneecap sets at the iconic Glastonbury Music Festival.
Police investigating Glastonbury sets? What for?
The report didn't specify the exact reason for the criminal investigation, but it just goes to show, even at music festivals, some performances can spark serious official scrutiny.
This was, as the BBC also reported, quickly followed by a related and significant controversy where the chief rabbi harshly criticized the BBC for airing what he explicitly called vile Jew hate during the Glastonbury coverage.
Wow, strong words.
He termed it a national shame and raised serious concerns about anti-Semitism and the media's responsibility in managing live content and audience reactions.
Highlights the challenges of live broadcast.
It truly highlights the complexities of live events and the heavy responsibility of broadcasters in curating content and ensuring it adheres to standards of public decency and respect, especially given the global reach of such festivals.
On a much more universally celebrated note for millions,
Good news, please.
the BBC confirmed that K-pop sensation BTS announced their triumphant return with a new album in spring 2026 and an upcoming world tour.
BTS is back. The ARMY will be thrilled.
That's undeniably massive news for the global BTS army, who have been eagerly awaiting their comeback.
From the concert stage to courts and fields, the world of sports never stands still. The NBA offseason has seen a veritable frenzy of free agency activity this past month.
NBA free agency madness, always busy.
NBC Sports and the Washington Post reported major moves, including the Grizzlies extending young star Jaren Jackson Jr. and the Nuggets making a significant trade involving Michael Porter Jr.
And Al Jazeera added to the basketball news, reporting that the Milwaukee Bucks made a noteworthy move, signing Miles Turner to a substantial 4-year, $107 million deal.
Big money for Turner.
While simultaneously waiving veteran Damian Lillard.
Lillard waived, wow.
It's been an exceptionally busy period of roster reshuffling across the league, with teams looking to retool for the upcoming season.
In the world of international football, the Club World Cup saw some truly stunning upsets.
Yeah, some big shocks there.
Al Jazeera reported that Fluminense delivered a shocker-stunning Inter Milan 2-0.
Fluminense beat Inter.
Now, Saudi club Al Hilal pulled off an even bigger surprise, stunning powerhouse Manchester City 4-3, with both underdogs advancing to the quarterfinals.
Al Hilal beat Man City. Seriously. Al Hilal's victory over Man City, specifically, as Al Jazeera extensively reported, significantly shifted global perceptions of Saudi football.
I bet it did.
This win brought them widespread international recognition and showcased the rapidly developing talent within the Saudi Pro League. Players like Sergej Milinkovic-Savic have been vocal in emphasizing the growing respect that professional players now have for the league,
suggesting this victory could be a turning point for its global standing. It certainly puts Saudi football on the international map in a big way.
And in a slightly more humorous, distinctly British take on sports strategy.
Humorous sports strategy, okay.
The BBC reported on England's cricket team, whose unique bowling approach against tail-enders, the lower-order batsmen, is now likened to enjoying a rabbit pie.
Rabbit pie, what does that even mean?
Apparently, it's this lighthearted yet confidently aggressive approach aims to efficiently close out matches, and it's apparently proving incredibly frustrating for the opposition.
Rabbit pie, I love it.
Rabbit pie. Now, that's a sports analogy I can absolutely get behind. It sounds delicious, and it's all about that tactical advantage and subtle psychological warfare on the pitch.
Indeed. It's that psychological game, isn't it? Knowing you've got them on the ropes, almost taking pleasure in that final decisive push.
Exactly.
It truly shows how much of elite sport isn't just about physical skill, but also about mental dominance and even a bit of playful strategic cruelty.
And for a deeper dive into an athlete's mindset beyond the field, the BBC featured Maro Itoje, a key British and Irish Lions rugby player.
Itoje, great player.
He discussed his profound beliefs in faith, charity, politics, and art, revealing how he maintains a remarkable sense of tranquility and inner peace amidst the intense fury and physicality of his sport.
Faith amid the fury. Interesting perspective.
It's a fascinating insight into the holistic life of an elite athlete.
Sometimes the world just throws us a curveball, or in this case, a strange cloud or a swarm of bugs.
Nature's oddities, yeah.
Yahoo reported a truly rare and captivating cloud formation that appeared over Portugal, mesmerizing beachgoers and weather experts alike due to its unusual and awe-inspiring appearance.
A weird cloud.
Okay. It was one of those fleeting natural wonders. And the BBC shared a truly wild story from South Korea.
What happened in South Korea?
Hikers at Gyeongsan Mountain encountered a massive swarm of love bugs at the summit. One video showed a hiker completely covered in them.
Covered in bugs. Ugh.
Which sounds like something out of a low-budget horror movie, albeit one perhaps with a slightly romantic subplot given the name. It's a vivid reminder of nature's unpredictable and sometimes overwhelming side.
And finally, a small but important win for consumers. The BBC reported that a family successfully won full compensation for a disastrous no-snow Lapland trip.
No snow in Lapland, oh dear.
Their TUI holiday activities were canceled due to a lack of snow, and they managed to fight for and receive a full refund.
Good for them.
Proving that sometimes, even against the whims of nature, consumer advocacy can prevail.
This highlights the power of persistence and consumer advocacy, even when faced with the whims of nature and the complexities of travel contracts. It's a small victory that resonates, reminding us that there's always recourse when expectations aren't met, even in the face of unpredictable circumstances. Outro.
What an incredible deep dive today. We traversed a vast landscape of global insights from July 2025, covering everything from complex geopolitical power plays and the remarkable, sometimes challenging advancements in AI and space exploration, to the shifting sands of the global economy, and even some rather unexpected cultural phenomena and natural oddities.
Indeed. We've seen how quickly the world changes, from the new normal of extreme heat patterns affecting daily life to the intricate dance between rapidly evolving technology and fundamental human behavior.
Yeah.
The common thread throughout all these diverse stories is the constant, overwhelming flow of information and the critical, ongoing need to discern what truly matters amidst the noise.
And that's exactly what we aim to do today, to provide you, our listener, with the essential nuggets of knowledge, the surprising facts, and the broader context that helps you connect the dots and truly feel well-informed,
Hopefully.
without having to spend hours poring over every single source.
This brings us to a final provocative thought for you, the listener. In an age where information is both abundant and often overwhelming, and with AI rapidly changing how we access and process knowledge, how do you personally filter through the sheer volume of daily news to find the insights that are most relevant to your life and decisions? And what role do you foresee artificial intelligence playing in that very personal process in the future?
Something to mull over as you go about your day. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and above all, stay curious.